What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So yesterday we got these stats for the new Prime Access, Gyre Prime, Alternox Prime, and Kestrel Prime. So we'll be covering those today, and basically how I'm feeling about these weapons that will be releasing in the Old Peace update in December. Enjoy these types of videos? Make sure to sub to this channel. Daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, discussion videos like this one. Everything in between your right place for Warframe content. We'll cover the weekly reset tomorrow as well. Alright, so let's go over what we have for new Prime Access stats. And reminder, Gauss Prime, Acarius Prime, and Accelerator Prime will be getting vaulted once these items come out. But yeah, DE give us a quick peek at what we got, and of course the screenshot button was ready, so we've got the stats for all the new stuff. Let's take a quick look at what these frames and items look like before we talk about what their stat upgrades will be. So here we are with a look at Gyre Prime right here, and the Kestrel Prime Boomerang. So the Kestrel Prime is definitely one of the worst throwing weapons in the game. The Alternox is not amazing, but it looks really, really nice. And then you got Gyre Prime being a pretty decent damage frame, but needs a lot of things to make her a little bit stronger compared to some other frames, like survivability problems. So, yeah, Alternox Prime is primarily an electric rifle, and as far as what the special gimmicks on these weapons will be, there actually are none, from what we can tell. That's a world premiere of the mediocrity right there. So, yeah, as we can see right here, the Oricon Gold enhances the conductivity of Gyre Prime's signature rifle, enabling it to fire massive electrical orbs. The main thing you're looking at here is just going to be a stat upgrade. Now, of course, these things can have hidden gimmicks, like the Daiku Prime technically had one. But if we just go over what the stat comparisons are right now, we have seen the primary shot. Now, the Alternox is not the best weapon in the game at all. It's got pretty bad base damage. It's got a nice alternate fire where it launches like an electric orb that like lingers. But yeah, it's got projectile flight speed on both shots. It's got not the best other stats besides base damage either. It is not really something I'd recommend to you. But let's go ahead and show how it works and how I would recommend, if you do want to use it, how I usually use it. And I don't use it very often, by the way. So here we are in the sim. And as far as what we're comparing here, we have the Alternox Normal, Gyre Normal, and the Kestrel Normal. Now, as far as the stats on these, let's start with Gyre Prime stats, actually, because, you know, let's just do it in order, basically. So here's Gyre Prime stats on the left and Gyre Normal stats on the right. So we're going to get an increase in HP on Gyre Prime from 370 at level 30 to 445. So you might laugh at this, be like, why is Gyre getting an HP increase? I'm also laughing, why is Gyre getting an increase? But you do have to remember, too, she did get a new augment relatively recently that does give her damage reduction. So I guess if you're trying to make like a tank Gyre build or something, that could maybe help. I don't know what the augment's called. What is it? Reverse rotor swell, yeah. 35% of damage received is redirected towards enemies as electric damage. So you can make that give you a little bit of DR, I guess. It goes up with strength too, so if you were to mod that fully, you know, you probably get like, I think like 75 or 80% DR on this thing. So that could be a reason to have HP. Not a good reason to have HP, but yeah. So we're getting an HP and shield buff on Gyre. So only a tankiness increase, which is a little bit odd in my opinion. Gyre is very clearly a caster frame, and they're giving her maximum HP and maximum shields. So you're getting a lot of extra shields and HP, like 90 extra shields it looks like here, going from 650 shields on the normal to 740 on the prime. But then the other stats are relatively the same. She does technically get a small sprint speed increase, but yeah, 105 armor still, basically no armor at all. 240 energy, which is pretty high for a non-prime, but still. Primes usually increases these stats. And then she goes from 1 sprint speed to 1.05 sprint speed. So she will technically move a little bit faster. So as far as that stuff on Gyre, those stat upgrades won't make much of a difference. But at least she'll be prime, so you're not going to feel bad for putting Omniform on her or whatever. Let's move on to the next item here, the Alternox Prime. Now, this one is going to be getting a relatively sizable damage upgrade, but also, is it going to be enough? Because I'm going to show you a comparison of buffed up Alternox and not buffed up Alternox here in a second, and it is questionable at best. So, Alternox Prime on the left, Alternox Prime on the right. Now, you might be like, why does this thing have built-in multi-shot? It's because Gyre has a passive where she holds the Alternox, she gets built-in multi-shot to the Alternox. So I've got Gyre equipped with the Alternox, keeping that in mind. Okay, so with that in mind, the increases of stats are as follows. The fire rate has gone from 4.33 to 5.33. And since the Alternox has not the best fire rate at base, that is good to see, because you're going to probably want to put a fire rate mod on there regardless. Next, the built-in multi-shot, that's only with Gyre. Don't worry about that when you're not playing Gyre. That won't even be there. Magazine size goes from 28 magazine size to 42 magazine size. Again, this thing has lots of not great quality of life, so that will be a good thing to have. And the reload stays the same at 1.8. As far as the damage stats on this thing, the critical chance is increasing from 14% to 20%, which is still not a ton, but compared to like how much it had before, it is a relative, like, it's like a 50% increase-ish. Next, critical damage is the same, and status chance goes up from 30% on the normal to 40% on the prime. That's good because this thing is base electric, and when I show the builds I like to recommend here, you will probably do an electric proc focus build. As far as the rest of the stuff, they did not scroll down to show the remaining stats, but yeah, these are not looking like huge up. Oh yeah, there's technically a small base damage increase too. I didn't mention that. It goes from, well, with Gyre's bonus, we have 74 total. It's like 62 total of the normal, and then it's gonna be, the new one is gonna be 65. So three base damage increase. Whoop-de-doo. So yeah, not a big damage increase at all. More like quality of life stat increase. Let's move on to the last weapon, the weapon that no one asked for, the Kestrel Prime. Now, I'm not going to act like I have a build on the Kestrel Prime. It is like actually by far the worst throwing weapon, but I can show you a build on the Glaive Prime that you could use on the Kestrel Prime. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a peek at this. All right, so before we go over, I want to read the description of this one because it's really funny. So the Kestrel Prime is going to have guaranteed knockdowns on throw, okay? Never mind the Glaive Prime having 4 slash procs, the Falcor having 4 electric procs. Don't worry about those. We got force knockdowns over here. But I love the description of this. Whoever wrote this has a sense of humor. All right. With heightened agility and power, the Kestrel Prime's heavy attacks easily knock down foes, ensuring none shall stand before it. So they won't be standing, but they'll still be alive. So you're just going to knock enemies over with this weapon is what it sounds like. But yeah, if you do want to, maybe have a little bit of goofy fun with this boomerang weapon, as far as the stat upgrades, faster attack speed, which doesn't really matter that much. We've got double the crit chance. We got increased crit damage. We've got triple the status chance with an impact focused weapon, which should be good with melee influence at least. And then you've also got a damage decrease, it looks like. There might be like a steel charge equipped here, actually. So, yeah, I would not take that stat too seriously. It looks like 294 on the normal, I'm assuming with no buffs, and 210 on the prime. Looks incorrect. I mean, I really think that might not be. Let me just link it here. Yeah, let me just link the Kestrel. There might be like some weird mod. Sometimes at least, yeah. Okay. Now we see the real number. So it says 84 damage on the normal, and then this new one would have 210. I wonder if their arsenal screen's wrong too, but yeah, that would be a massive damage upgrade if we're seeing this right. So, hey, at least it looks like they doubled the damage and they doubled basically everything and then tripled the status chance. So, for this impact-focused glaive, you might be able to get something done with melee influence here because it has so much status chance. Now, as far as what I'd recommend to you, as I was stating, for all these builds, I will be making a new Gyre build soon, but yeah, I don't use the Kestrel. If you want to use a bad glaive, I'd recommend that you just basically take the build I have on the Glaive Prime. Just make it into a melee influence weapon. So, galvanized reflex, galvanized steel, blah, 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 blah. You could throw on elementalist too. I like normal elementalist because of the wind-up speed, but galvanized elementalist works too. And then you throw on melee influence and throw on some electric, and then this should be this should be great, honestly. So give that a quick throw. Reminder that this is not the, oh, you know what it is? I have a melee damage invigoration. That's what it was. Okay, so yeah, big damage upgrade on the Kestrel, it seems like. Also, these are some of the tankiest guys you can summon in here, so don't take it looking like this as it being bad. These are some of the most tanky dudes you can summon. These are more tanky than Manic Bombard Eximus guys, so yeah. So you can get the job done with melee influence like most things in this game. Now, moving on to the weapon and frame here. As far as the alternox, I like to use... Actually, I don't like to use it, but if I was to use it, I'd probably be using something like this with Ivara. It's focused on being invisible and getting big damage with headshots. Thing is, though, if you're not playing Ivara, you're not going to have as good of a setup, so we got electric and viral here. Again, this is not the best gun. It is really not the best gun at all. But if you do want the rocket, this is what you could think about using. Now, I'll show you how bad it is without buffs, and we'll throw on some buffs to show how good it can be. Alright, so not the best, not the best. Again, these guys are they're like simulated level 10,000s, so keep that in mind. But yeah, unless you really buff it up, it's not going to feel super phenomenal. So we got Arcane Crux on here giving status chance and ammo efficiency. The alt fire shot shoots out this exploding orb. You can push the button again to detonate it because you only have one orb out at a time. And yeah, so it looks pretty bad as you can see, but then we go ahead and throw on a good setup, and it's going to totally annihilate this guy. So That being said, this build can do basically anything in the game annihilated with any weapon, so we don't have to worry about that part too much. But yeah, we got Arcing Repressor, we got Roar, we got Worthy Camaraderie, we got a lot of stuff on here to buff us. And we got the alternox with, I forgot to mention, we got this. This will be really good on the alternox. Primary electric shards give you increased electric damage. And if you were to get force electric procs with like maybe Gyre's conductive sphere augment, that could help you out a lot. That being said, though, do you really want to be playing Gyre as a weapon buffer frame? I'll probably play her as a caster frame instead. So we go ahead and just get some buffs going here, and you're gonna see multi-million damage electric procs. This is with no elementalists too. And I know it's like, why are you summoning these guys that are so tanky? It's because people want me to summon this stuff, basically. Whenever I summon things that aren't the most tanky in the game, people are like, you could have summoned someone more tanky, Gaz. It's like, yeah, I technically could have. Alright, so we got some headshots. Now we're getting over 1 million damage. So as you can see, now it's a little bit better because we have all these buffs going. 1.1 million damage electric proc. We got magnetic and viral to make it where we can debuff pretty much everything that we're shooting at. So very, very usable in that regard. The alt fire shot, not phenomenal, but usable. And of course, if you're playing Ivar, you can do goofy stuff like Ivar's 2 to control the disco orb. Doesn't really do a whole lot, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, not exactly the best, but interesting at least. So, after all that, this stuff is coming out in December, guys, and I think that it is going to be a bit of a wait for a pretty underwhelming Prime Access. I don't know why DE is allergic to picking good things for Prime Access. This Kestrel is just, it feels out of place. So, I honestly am just kind of bummed by it. I was hoping that we would get alternox, Gyre, and Diriga, because we haven't gotten a new Prime Sentinel for a bit. But yeah, I guess they just have to have one item that's not that good. So, I'm not saying the Kestrel won't be usable, because every thrown melee weapon was usable in this game. But yeah, it looks like it might still be one of the worst. Like, if it's not, I guess the normal Kestrel will just be the worst, and like the Halakar Wraith is honestly, the Halakar Wraith might be better than this thing too, so. Let me know how you guys feel about the Prime Access in the comments down below. I think it's a little bit weird that Gyre is also getting HP and shield buffs, but I guess it's not that surprising because just be invisible the whole time anyway. So, yeah, see you guys in the next video. I should be live on stream tomorrow. And yeah, we got more coverage of this update coming on December as DE gives us more information as it pours out. All right, guys, see you next time. Peace.